We'll take any questions.
Mayor, do you have any reason to believe that ICE is coming to Providence?
We don't. We don't know. They have said that they're focusing on major cities. They've published a name of some major cities. Providence hasn't been on that list. However, that hasn't stopped people in our community from being frightened. And you know, what's doubly frightening about it is that they've made clear that they will arrest not only, or detain, not only the person, you know, who has a deportation order, but they're also going to arrest or detain anyone who's unlucky enough to be in that place at that time. So this isn't about policy. This isn't about this isn't about some political some policy. This is about stoking fear in people's minds. And I think that Reverend Donnie Anderson was 100% right. However, I'll go a step further. I think that this isn't about affecting policy at the border. This is about scoring political points and putting them in better position to win another election. That is shameful.
So the police department already does not work with ICE to carry out these types of...
That's right.
Raids. So how much farther is the city willing to go, or can the city go, to protect these people without deportation orders?
So no involvement, period.
Okay.
That's as far as we can go. We will go as far as we possibly can.
So to be clear, there's no change, right?
There's a youth that has a question. Can I say something?
Sure.
Sure. So my question is kind of related to what you're saying. So how much of a role will you be doing to not cooperate with ICE? A passive or a proactive role?
Yeah. So I'm not sure I fully understand the distinction, but we will not be cooperating in any way with ICE.
So what I mean by that, will you be sharing information from this meeting in different languages, not only Spanish and but Cambodian, Southeast Asian?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question, and there are a number of different resources, and we will share all of that. There are a number of really great organizations at a national level as well that have Know Your Rights. And we want to funnel everyone towards that information so that they know exactly what to do.
And will that be accessible to Sunday?
Yes, that'll be accessible immediately. We want to be as proactive as possible to let folks know what kind of resources and what information is helpful to them.
We already have resources off to the side table as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, one of the arguments that's been made to strictly enforce deportation and remove undocumented immigrants is that they drain public resources, the education system, the health system. Do you see anything like Providence, or what would you say to people who try to make that argument? You know,
so there's been a lot written on this, and we know that undocumented immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than natives. We also know that cities with larger number of immigrants have less crime than cities with higher higher percentages of natives. And so this idea that immigrants are the source of our problems, that by removing them, that our problems are going to be solved, is just factually incorrect. But it continues to be repeated over and over, again, because it sells well politically. This is not towards any policy end, it's just political. That's one. The second thing is, you know, the sheer impracticability, if that's a word. It's just, as a matter of fact, impractical to deport 11 million residents in our community. And the number of ICE agents that would take is probably 1,000 times more than ICE agents that actually exist. And so we're not going to solve, even if we, for the sake of argument, agree that it is a problem, this is not the solution to that problem. Again, this is something that's meant to stoke fear. This is something that's a PR stunt more than anything else. And this is not about achieving some kind of policy end. And then the last piece, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, I want to give a shout out to former Representative Erin Regan Berg. Erin, you were extremely courageous in what you did last week, and putting your body physically between the trucks and people looking to continue to enforce this inhumane immigration system that we have. Aaron was even arrested because of the stance that he took. So on behalf of all residents of the city, I want to say thank you, Aaron, for your courage. And I wanted to bring that up because the Never Again movement has made very, very clear that this image of sending out our police forces and physically rounding up our community, this is something that any person, whether you're an ally of the immigrant community or not, we should all be terrified by something like this. This is using the power of the state to round otherwise law-abiding and innocent people who want nothing but what's best for them and their family, and using the power of the state to take away their freedoms. It's something that we should not take lightly. And as we've seen in this administration, as with the citizenship question on the census, we see that there is discriminatory intent behind this administration's actions. It's been called out by court case after court case after court case, where judges have seen through the BS and have thrown their cases out. And every single time that the Trump administration has been taken to court on these issues, they have lost. It's because there's no sincerity behind what they're doing. There's discriminatory intent, and it really conjures up some of the most horrific images from our history that we cannot allow to happen here in our community.
All right, we'll take one more question, and we're running out of time at this point.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, should residents of Providence intervene like former Representative Regan Berg if they bear witness to ICE operations, anything that they feel goes against everything that is being spoken of today from this large panel here?
Should they, tell me the question again?
So should they intervene much like Representative Regan Berg if they see something that they believe is unjust? Should civil disobedience take place in a situation like this?
I think that the idea of rounding up families, separating them from families, and then putting them through the inhumanity of this immigration system that we're seeing is as horrific as possible. And I'll say that any person in our community that stands up, ensuring that no one is being physically harmed and injured, but anyone who stands up to prevent that from happening is something that I have great admiration for. And so, if there is word of this happening, I would expect that we help get the word out, particularly about what are folks' rights, and anything that we can do to help law-abiding people prevent the consequences of them being subject to these inhumane practices.
I got a question from a community
Thank you for the
organization.
Sorry, we'll take them off to the side at this point. I have to.
It's from a community organization that was invited here.
We can do one more, man, sure.
So I just want to ask if this support, thank you for holding this press conference, is this support for the undocumented community going to include folks with past offenses and have been caught up in the criminal justice system?
With what you said?
With past offenses, who are more likely to be deported than people who are just law-abiding citizens.
Yeah. So absolutely, our police department will not assist in these immigration raids in any single way. And as a community, we're going to proactively make sure we get the message out there so that people know their rights. And God forbid, if they do find themselves victims of one of these immigration raids, we want to let them know all the support's available to them as a community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, everyone.